Hello everybody, today we'll be showing all the new revamps to old islands and some new island production. Now for Ferrari, we mainly focus on this part and didn't really focus on the head or tail as much, as well as this part, as this is mainly going to be submerged into the water halfway through. So details on that would have been useless, and this is mainly used as an open area to fight in. Now we'll head in here, and as we can see, we have a dining area all throughout the first floor. We have tables for 4, tables for 2, tables for 8. We have tables again for 2, 4, and these ones are, unused tables, so they're stacked on top. And we have candles to represent that this is a fine dining experience. So yeah, each floor is about 3 characters high, as we can see right here. Each floor is 3 characters high, so players will have enough room inside, and they'll be able to come out here and fight enemies outside as well. Now for the second floor, we will have the kitchen. So we have some kitchen utility here for the kitchen staff, which obviously there won't be any actual staff. And through the next door we have the storage room, where we have extra tables just stored, and then that one lonely table for the captain. And on the final floor we have this one, the smallest room on the ship. Now for this one, we didn't really fill it up yet, but it is lighted up. Very, very simple. And to the side we have the tail that will function as a tail, as well as ladders to get to the second floor from the outside. So yeah. And then there's the back, which looks similar to the front except missing some details, as it is the back. We have the fish head, which is a fish head. Tempted to put a tongue in there. Yeah, the only thing not made by me is this fish head, as one of our modelers made it. The rest I made from the sails and up. So here we go with our sails. We have sails, and let's go on to the next. Next up in our revamp journey, I decided, without any real motivator or anybody telling me what to do, to revamp this first sand island on First World, as if I felt it was too flat and needed more elevation. So I added these 2 back areas to allow for that elevation, one being the dead tree zone, while the other being a more inviting area where you see the same exact kind of environment as down here. And for this, simply just elevated it on different levels. Still a blocky design, mainly because that's what I wanted to keep for this island. This one, really, no one told me to do anything about it, really, about elevation. I just did it on myself because I thought I really needed elevation. Personally, there were some plans on me from my side to change the complete design of the island. But then I realized that there's actually going to be a second sand, essentially island, in the whole world of Sen Universe. So I couldn't implement it here because then I'd be revamping the complete island. So I decided to save that idea for the sand island that's going to be in Wano, which will be much bigger than this one and will definitely look way better, as some things on this currently are not of my ideal standards, such as these circles and whatnot, as I didn't intend for those. It was mainly an instruction I was told to do, which was these circles. Personally, I would have not done circles like that, and instead done an environment where it shows that, oh yeah, that's an empty area for mobs to be placed in. elevated areas are definitely meant for more mobs. So over here you can see for more mobs there, more mobs here, can be a mob right there as well. And we still have the same kind of dock, as I didn't think we needed to change it as much, with a board and a little stall, as well as the two stalls within here that players will be able to go to. And I did change up the pyramid on top of here to be more right on the edges, so it looks a little better, a little cleaner. Now for the next island, we have the ice island. Now there was very small changes to this island, being the trees, which are quite major, and a little bit more room for players to go to, and or mobs to be. And this area simply was because I felt like the island had become smaller than the other ones, but in reality I think it's decent size for an ice island. Now the trees are made by CFS, right? So he made these trees, so if you do have any suggestions on the trees for him, say it in the comments. Hopefully he sees those. If not, I'll direct him to it. So yeah, he made these trees. All I did was simply resize them. And the dock is about the same. Everything is pretty much the same as my last update. For this one, it's from the trees and this small area right here, which I expanded on. Very simple, very simple, but you can allow for more mobs to be here. Now for one of our final updates on the revamps is the starter island. Now with the starter island, I decided to keep most of the main part the same, except expand it a little bit, as well as add new building designs to it. So as you can see, after passing the boss area, you can see there's staircases upwards to this new small area with new building designs similar to the ones in Orange Town, as well as the tower that you do see in Orange Town later on, just to expand it, so players are able to come up here and view majority of the town from the back side, as well as a new building, the Windmill. So with the Windmill, I decided that I wanted to make sure it wasn't like the typical One Piece game windmills. Typically we see that same green and white windmill that's two cylinders going up, one smaller, and then that weird little brown fence around it. And it's very basic. It's the free model one that everybody gets. And I didn't want that for our game. I didn't want some basic simple one like that one. So I decided on making my own design, very heavily inspired on more Eastern European windmills. So we start off with a heavier base going inwards, inclining, and then this part being more like Roblox like, so it's a very like squarish top but with very refined edges. And we have the windmill itself top, where you can see it's actually in, like, you can technically go in it, but you see all this machinery. So yeah, so we have very simple machinery, as no one really is going to check in here, so no one's going to see this back area, so that's why nothing's here, except we put few gears right here. That way if someone did look through it, they could see the gears, and that's about it, because people are able to actually come up onto this top piece, as it does fit a Roblox character, so people could be here. And hopefully my hope for this is that they do spin this, as I literally separated it for them, so they'll be able to spin that if they want to. Yeah, at first the intention was to make it so people would enter it, but then I decided on making this machinery, so I might make it so they can enter through the bottom and only be at the bottom, or I might just leave it closed as is right now. And yeah, so I think the windmill turned out great. It looks far better than those stereotypical windmills for One Piece games. And yeah, again, the trees on this island were made by CFS. And yeah, There's quite a bit of empty room on this island that I personally wish wasn't here, because it really takes away from the whole actual reason for this island. But not my choice all the time. Now, for one update that I've been showing throughout my streams that I'm sure some of you have already seen is Wano. Wano has been progressively getting there. Now, in one of my last videos, I did show off some progress through Wano, but today I'll be showing off some new updates to that, such as the corn crops. So we've expanded what the farms would have, and we've decided on bringing corn crops. This was mainly my decision, but I did have them modeled by one of the modelers, so it turned out good. Textures could be changed, right? These were just temporary. But yeah, definitely think corn crops is one good addition. So yeah, we have the corn crops all throughout here. We have the fortress that we all love, yes, and we will go on to the bridge. No updates here, but Wano as well is looking about the same. I do plan on changing the Torii gates, as they are not fitting with the gates I've made over here. One of the next updates to Wano might be the building on the top there, but one of the more recent streams that I've done did have the addition of Udon and how it's going to turn out. So here we do have the area of Udon, which we will have a river flowing to the side and exiting out. That'll be the water source of this area. And so right here we have a starting of a village, right? So here I do intend to add more buildings and whatnot, and from what I saw within all the Udon references, the buildings were very basic and they didn't really have detail. So as far as buildings go, this is how detailed a building in Udon is. These of course have frames, but you can't really see them, right? Like all the buildings would have like blackout windows and no frames and no details up here. That would have been flat, but I added that just because I think it makes it look better, as well as adding these staircases. I did bring some of the market stalls that we have in Wano itself over here, but with a more dark and pale kind of feeling to them. And we did bring these as well, as I felt like it would have been a good addition here. And we did a very simple build of like a little construction site that might be on this area. This is very basic again. And one of the things we did finish in one of the streams was the prison itself, the prison mine. So currently you can see at the top we have all this area. So they have these platforms that, you know, that go to each tower, as well as this open area at the top. So either a boss or mob can go up here, as well as the bottom over here where we have these simple gates, and we have all this area. So this again could be for a boss or a bunch of mobs. So yeah, that's the prison itself. I did make it smaller than it should be from the reference, mainly because I don't think we need something as big, as players may be spending their time here just to fight 2 different kind of mobs, and they'll be able to go to each towers and just chill with their friends and whatnot. So that's pretty much all the updates to do with Wano and the previous islands. Thank you for watching, and be sure to comment, as I'll be picking one comment out of all of you to get a free Steam game. Yes, this game, yes, that game.